Hello, this is Thomas, K4SWL. If you're new here, I like to do real-time, real-life amateur radio field activation videos. And today, I hope I can fit in a quick summit activation here at Baker's Mountain. I'm at Baker's Mountain, which is a county park here in Catawba County near Hickory, North Carolina. And this is a little one-point summit. It's actually one of my very favorite summits because I sort of grew up in the shadow of this little mountain, this outlier mountain. Well, not exactly in the shadow, but very nearby. This is sort of my old stomping grounds. The trail to the summit's very nice. Not very strenuous, although you're going to hear me huff and puff a little bit because I'm in a hurry, so I'm kind of hiking faster than I normally do. And it's super humid today. It's only about 80 degrees Fahrenheit, which is not horrible. It's what, about 9 o'clock in the morning right now? Not quite. But the humidity is really high. And it always makes me feel like I have to breathe a little harder. It's supposed to cool down here in the next couple of days, but I just needed to stretch my legs today, and I really wanted to get a strenuous hike in. And actually, you can get a pretty darn good strenuous hike here on this trail, even though this is only a one-point summit. There are a couple of steep parts, and if you go at a pretty decent pace, you get a nice workout. So should be nice. Propagation yesterday was really bad, especially toward the end of the day. I did 3 park activations, and I don't know what it'll be like this morning. I'll probably start on 20 meters. I'm going to deploy my 40 meter in-fed half wave. Probably start on 20 meters, then move down to 40. 20 meters may be completely dead, but I'm going to give it a go. Because in SOTA, a lot of the hunters are in Europe and the West Coast, or chasers, rather. And I really like trying to put them in the logs when I can. Oh, it's so nice out here. I told you I'd be huffing and puffing though. I'm not taking this at a slow pace, even though it may not look like it in this video. It may look like I'm going slowly, but it's pretty fast for me. I don't have a lot of time. Actually, I may only have about 30 minutes to do my activation. But for SOTA, I only really need 4 contacts for a valid SOTA activation. Now, do I care if it's valid or not? Not really, because I'll probably come out here and activate the summit 2 times more before the end of the year, maybe more than that. The 1 point only counts once towards SOTA goat status, but I don't really care. I'd love to get my SOTA goat status, which is 1,000 points. I'd love to get it, but someday, but frankly, that's not my motivating factor. I just like getting out and playing radio in the field. This is nice. So, hopefully I brought everything with me. This may be the shortest activation ever. Shortest non-activation ever. Because I have my whole KX2 pack with me that I know has everything needed for a summit activation. But I looked in my radio gear this morning, and there sat my TX-500. And I can't remember the last time I took it on a SOTA activation. So I thought, I'm going to take the TX-500. Then I realized that I don't have my knee board with me. I'm really used to that thing. This is the knee board that Joshua at Tufton makes, that is based on a design by Carol in 0RNM. I get your call sign right, Carol. I hope I did. Carol Ann. And normally I have that with me, but I took it out for a ham radio demo with a club recently. I forgot to stick it back in my bag. Well, okay, I shouldn't be too rough on myself. I never planned to do a SOTA activation on this like overnight trip I'm doing right now. So I didn't bring my SOTA pack, which is my Mystery Ranch 332. I didn't bring that with me. If I had brought that with me, I would have my other knee board with me, but I didn't. So I just have my GR1. Okay, I'm gonna turn off the camera here so I can pass this hiker. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, I always turn off the camera if I encounter another trail hiker because I don't want to include them in videos without their consent and that sort of thing. Met a really nice fellow, actually, who told me about a couple of interesting crooked trees along this path. I'll have to check out. But yeah, this is like one of the steeper parts of the trail right here. Nice little tip if you do not a lot of SOTA work is to take smaller steps when you're going uphill. You can keep up a good pace, but keep your stride a little shorter and it's a little easier. Though today I'm in a hurry, so I don't know. Yeah, so hopefully I have everything I need. I'll probably end up operating on my backpack in my lap with the TX-500. Won't be too difficult. Heck, with SOTA, I'll activate on the ground too, so it's really not a big deal. Anyway, let's get on up to the summit. I should say that Baker's Mountain, if you ever come out here to Catawba County, Baker's Mountain is sort of an outlier mountain. I think it is the only summit in Catawba County. It's sort of an outlier of the South Mountains. And people come here and activate it, and they go up to the observation platform to do the activation. It's a really pretty spot to do it, but it's nowhere near the true summit. The true summit is further up, and I got permission from park rangers here in the past because there are signs that say, you know, don't go any further than this. But the park ranger said it is not a problem for SOTA activators. It's mainly just to keep the bulk of all the hikers right here on the trails that they maintain. Wow, it is a beautiful morning, but boy, if you could do it, if you could be here with me right now, you'd say, wow, the air is thick. I'm just grateful it's not hot, like 90 plus degrees yet, which is one of the reasons I'm doing this activation so early. Okay, let me kick it in high gear, try to make it up the hill so I'm not just panting away here on camera. See you in a bit. Okay, we're now getting closer to the true summit. Still got a little bit of a hike yet to do along the top of Baker's Mountain, which is kind of a twin peak mountain. One peak of it has a cluster of radio towers, cell phone towers, that sort of thing. The other one, which is to the left here, is the actual true summit. And this part's not hard at all. Every time I come here, though, I'm reminded when I'm pushing it, it's actually a really strenuous little workout. I guess it all has to do with how fast you normally hike, that sort of thing. For people out on the West Coast that hike up big rocky mountains in low, well, I should say in high altitudes, you know, this would be a breeze, except for they may not be used to the humidity. The humidity makes me sweat profusely, and I feel like it just makes every breath a little more difficult, but I shouldn't complain. I was just thinking, well, ran into two more hikers. There's two young ladies on the way up here. Was talking with them, and they said they've been on the lookout for black bears here. And I was telling them, you know, they are around here, but it would be super, super rare to see one hiking in Catawba County. Now, it's becoming more of a thing. In fact, black bears are moving out of the mountains down into the foothills in Piedmont. So there are sightings around here, but it would be very rare to find one here on Baker's Mountain, frankly. But they are coming. They're spreading out. It's such a nice little hike and summit. Also just love the sound of it up here. So this right here, this mound, is the actual true summit. Let me go this way this time. There are no real views up here. It's just a little too... There's just too much foliage to see because it's not a cleared off space. We're probably well within the activation zone right now, but I still try to get as close as I can up to the very true summit. I'll probably park myself on one of these paths. Actually, I may be wrong. I think this up here may be the Y that is the true summit. Maybe one more Y here in the road. I think I'm right. Yeah, that was not it. Anyway, it's kind of funny because last year, so I put on a little extra weight during COVID. Even though I was hiking a lot, I don't know, I was at home cooking more food, eating more, and I put on a little weight. I've shed at least all of that weight, and I'm trying to go down a little further. And so I'm in a much healthier place than I was last year, but for some reason, I feel like my endurance is down a little bit this year. Maybe it's just because we weren't here all summer last year, and we were in Canada, and it just wasn't as humid and hot up there, and I think it's just I'm not used to this humid hot weather anymore. But again, shouldn't complain. It's not actually that bad today. Today's pretty darn moderate. Now later on, it'll get much worse. I expect it to probably be 93, 94 today. Something like that. Since I grew up near here, the sound of the insects sounds like home to me. Also, you'll notice this is an area with a fair amount of vines and things hanging over and grasses. It's a great place to pick up ticks this time of year, but especially in the late spring. So I have tick repellent on. I also cover my hiking trousers and boots with permethrin. And it works for about 5 washes, 6 washes, and it'll definitely keep all those nasty buggers off of you. Well, by the amount of spider webs I'm eating, this is the true summit. Straight ahead. Little mound right here. Right or left? We'll go this way. Yeah. I've been eating quite a few spider webs. I need to just hold my hiking stick up like this. I don't think that maybe 1 or 2 hikers a day actually come up here. It'd have to be people kind of in the know about where the true summit is. And with permission. Okay, it's looking pretty good. Here is the tree summit, right here. Let me just find a nice branch to hang my in-bed half wave. And a nice bit of shade so that maybe I don't have to wear my hat. This would probably work fine. I'll keep walking a little bit though. That would be a really good branch right there. Even though there's a little less shade. Less tall branches right here that are easily accessible. Like I see them. I was just talking with my buddy Alan, W2AEW, recently. When you get used to doing POTA and SOTA, no matter where you go, no matter where I hike, even if I have no intention of doing a park activation or a summit activation, I'm always looking for good branches. There's like a stubby branch right there, but the angle I'd have to shoot it from would be like that way, which means it'll come across this way, and I actually think that's what I want to do. I'll keep looking. Anywhere in this little circle up here is perfectly fine for SOTA. Oh, here's a good branch. Yeah. Yes, I think that'll do nicely. That one right there. Won't be easy to get a line across that, but I think I can do it. Hey, and maybe as a little extra bonus, I'll have a bit of a view. Yeah, let's do that. Let me think this through. Probably need to shoot it from this side. Now, trigger warning here. You're going to see one sweaty individual when I show this antenna deployment. By the way, I'm constantly looking around not only for trash, which I haven't seen up here at all, but also poison ivy. There's a lot of it in this area. So you don't want to get in that. Let me see how much battery life I've got. Okay, so far I'm doing okay. Maybe I can do this all in one battery. That'd be great. I will end up stopping this because when I set up my seat, it is going to be a little challenging. I'll need some time to do it. Here we go. Let's see here. So the first thing I'm going to do is get my pack off, my sweaty pack off. That's my chair, my water, my throw line, which is what I need right now. I know what you're thinking. I've never heard anybody complain so much on such an easy summit. That's true. This is a 12-ounce weight, which is actually really good if I were going... The reason I use it on this one is this is actually a full-size line here. So if I was going for a really high tree branch, I could do that. This one's not a small tree branch. Actually, it's pretty high. Okay, I suspect this may take me a couple tries. That's actually not a super easy one to get. Let's see if we can do it. I'll point this up a little bit. Here we go. I just need the room to do it. Get a little bit of cordage out here. Try not to step on it. Okay, let's be lucky the first time. Oh my goodness. I way overdid that. I've been finding this out lately. Like, people keep saying, how high can you make these throw lines go? That's got to be 50 feet right there. And it's just physics. It's not hard. I'm not a physically like super strong guy or anything. This is just physics, right? Okay. Now, why in the world did I drop my backpack here? I should have been dropping it over here because I'm going to pull this line through from this side and I'm going to set up right here. This is actually a really good spot right here, I think. I think these trees will protect me from being in the full-on sun. So here we go. Let's get the rest of this together. Got my trusty MFET halfway. This is one I've used in my past few activations because all these activations, this is my 4th activation that I've done in the past just couple of days. So let's see. Man, that was a good shot, actually. Give myself a pat on the back. They don't always come out this way, but when they do, it's awfully nice. Okay. Golly, if this antenna doesn't work today, then we have horrible propagation because, man, this is about as good as it gets for antenna deployments. I think, again, this will almost be a 40-meter vertical. We'll see how far it goes. This line, I think, is like 61, 62. Steve MW0 SAW can probably tell exactly how much because he built this antenna, but by seeing how far the line goes over the tree limb up there, I'll know roughly how high this is. But it'll be nearly vertical, not quite. There we go. So let's go pull this and get it up in the tree. I need to be paying attention while I do this. I'm gonna pull my whole antenna up. That's how high it goes. I was looking to see when it would go over the branch. I haven't gone over it yet. This is topping out in the tree. It's topping out in the tree, so it's up there. I'm going to get my RG316 out. That way I can kind of position where this will be. Ah, okay, wait. Okay, there is a little bit more to go up in. I see now. This got tangled. I thought that was a little too good to be true. That just got a little bit tangled here. There we go. I'm gonna keep pulling it now. Okay, I see it now, and my best guesstimate is that this is up about 50 feet. It's going over probably about 10 feet, maybe not quite that much, maybe like 53 feet. Anyway, I'm very pleased. Let me tie this on to my pack here. That way I'll know when I've got the antenna up to the right height. There we go. So I'll try to show you here. You probably don't know how much of this you could actually see. I was doing this, but yeah, so what happened was the little center insulator somehow caught on the wire, and that's the reason why it kind of prematurely went up in the tree. I thought that was kind of weird. I didn't think I'd pulled that much line. got me excited. I was thinking, God, could that possibly be 60 feet? I don't think I can shoot a line up 60 feet. I think probably the max I've ever done is 55, but this line's going up. And my guess is it's probably about, like I said, 7 to 10 feet over. So yeah, let's say safely 50 feet. So this ought to work pretty well as long as we got a little bit of propagation, which I never take that for granted anymore. Okay, I'm gonna turn this off, try to get set up here, and we'll hop on the air. Okay, here I am. This is about the best I can do under the circumstances. But actually, you know what? This is not a bad setup. This works pretty well as a tabletop. It's just not as flat and small as my kneeboard, but it works great. I just went ahead and set up my logs here, and I haven't turned on the radio. You can see this actually, the TX-500 is great for this because my speaker mic can attach onto the MOLLE webbing here on my GR1 backpack rucksack. So let's see if we can get a signal. Now, I announced that I would be on 62.5. Again, this is early for 20 meters. I'm not really sure what to expect. I do see a few other signals here. Hopefully you can too. Yeah, there we go. I think you can see that probably, hopefully. Okay. I've got this set to 5 watts. Now, I may have to change out the battery. I've been using Joshua's 5 amp hour LiPo batteries he made. One of them I ran down completely, the other one's probably close to it, and that's what I'm using right now. But it's not a big deal. I can just hop in here, grab another battery, and slip it on. But I'm going to go ahead and recharge those when I get back to the house. So here we go. Let's see. Now, I've got to do, I need really a SOTA call, so I'll just go ahead and do it. I want to see if it auto spots me. I'm looking now. Yes, it spotted me. area. Oh wait, yep. Oh, thanks. Oh, right. Haven't seen you in the vlogs here for a while. Okay. Give me a second here. It's about to give a POTA CQ. I'm just dripping sweat all over the place. Sorry about this. You know what? Okay, I'm going to call QRT actually. I'll go do 2 more calls. I got more than double the amount I need for a SOTA activation. Not that that matters too much, but this was fine. But I knew that this wouldn't last long because I really do need to go. Okay. Oh, wait. So there's an ant going up my leg, inside my pant leg. Excellent. Ditching the logs. Sorry, I'm going about as fast as I can here. Okay, I'm going to turn this off real quick because I really do need to end this now. Some people may ask, like, why would you go to all the trouble of putting up a big antenna and doing all this stuff on a summit and then not stay on the summit forever? Well, the truth is, in my life, I just don't have enough time often to stay out for very long. And so what I like to do is, I'm going to make a little note here. I didn't get all of this. I'm pretty sure it's a W7A M something 126. I'm going to go do a little bit of investigation later on to get the rest of that, to stick it in my logs so that I have it here. So I'm going to put a little star here to remember that. But anyway, I take the time I have. If I have this much time, to me, the fun is deploying the gear. That is like really fun to me. I know for a lot of people, they don't like that. And so they try to do everything they can to have it just where, you know, they can hop out of their car and they can get on the air immediately. And I totally get that. And some people prefer doing things mobile. But for whatever reason, I really enjoy hopping out and doing the field thing where I'm deploying all of my gear in the field. I just really, really love that. So, yeah, that's why I'm here. And so on days like today, Baker's Mountain's not a rare summit or anything like that. So I don't feel too guilty about only working, like, what did I work today? 13 contacts. I don't feel too guilty about that. And I really was ready to call it quits here. So I can go, let me take a few photos while I can. I'm going to turn this down so that if anybody's calling me, I won't hear them. That sounds really bad, but I really do need to move on here. I've got to take, I've got so many errands to run in Hickory today for my parents and stuff. And I kind of squeezed in this activation. And try to take a few photos. Take a photo of my logs and of the radio here. There we go. That should be good enough. Okay, very pleased with that. Very, very pleased. Let's put all this stuff up now. I don't know how much battery life I've got left in the camera. Oh, I got a bit. I should be able to include all this, I think. It's a little challenging, though, to maneuver all this. But to me, you know, I didn't even hit 40 meters, and here I had a 40 meter end fed halfway but I didn't even hit 40 meters, and that's fine. That is perfectly fine to me. I would have liked to have done 40, frankly. If I had even 15 more minutes, I would. But the goal is, it's 10 o'clock right now. I really need to be back getting showered at 1 o'clock and heading out to these appointments in town. And I don't want to be late. I would have also liked to have gone up to like 15, and I probably would have gone up to 15 meters. I bet you I could have worked some European stations up there. Seems like 20 meters is actually in better shape today than it was yesterday. So that would have been nice. Now I grab my little black bag in here where I stuff most of my TX-500 stuff. Goes in here. See, this mic has a little clip on the back and it just goes straight into the MOLLE, webbing on my bag. Got this. Let's put the battery in here. People say, you know, I think people who haven't used the TX-500 think that it just has a lot of wire sticking out of it. And it does if you're doing things like digital modes and stuff like that, where you need just so many other accessories. But for CW, yeah, you have the mic. If you want to use the mic, you can get a headphone adapter thing too, and that would work. And here's what I've been doing. I stick this in here like this in my pack. This goes in here. Here's my water. I've got to put my chair in here yet. Got my other hiking stick. Got my camera. Let's put the chair up. This is my cheap chair. Now, a serious SOTA activator would either not take a chair along at all or get one of those super hyper lightweight ones, but this one came from Aldi. It works well. And for a little hike like this, I mean, you can, actually I don't mind having a little bit of weight in my pack for the exercise of the whole thing. Now, if I were going on a long extended camping trip doing SOTA, then yeah, I'd want to go very, very minimal. Because weight starts to really, really matter then. But for something like this, I mean, really pretty simple. Just roll this up, stick it in here, now we'll go over here, take off the weight off the end of the line, release that tension there. Throw this back over there where my pack is. Grab the embed half wave. Then take this off. Roll up very loosely my RG316. This is a cable I built. So the guarantee is pretty good on it if I build it. It's guaranteed. Hopefully it'll work. Stick this in here. Okay, and the truth is I will rearrange a few things in my pack once I put up my camera. Because I probably won't hike down. Well, you know what, I'll probably take my, if I remember, I'll keep my camera out until I get down to the observation area. At least I can show you where that is and how that looks, because it's kind of a neat place. I'll forget to take photographs of it. I'll forget to photograph it. Here we go. I have a special place for this in my backpack too, evidently. As I was packing it this morning, I realized I'm going to take my hat off as well. Even though it's a very sunny day, I'm going to be under a canopy this entire time, and my hat makes me just that much hotter. I've actually cooled off really nicely while I've been up here. It's super pleasant right now, despite the humidity. I really should just move out west, shouldn't I, and stop complaining about humidity. I grew up in this, though. I grew up in this. Here we go. And I'll show you where I stick this in my backpack. And the GR1 goes right here, like that. And then my chair goes in here like this. I'm not worried about that leaking, in case you're wondering. And I actually had somebody write recently and said that they don't like carrying one of these throw lines because they just take too long to put up. Let me show you how quick this is. You can time me. Not that I'm going to hurry that much, but I'll just show you. It's not that hard. And this is really deploying a lot of line too. Way more line than I needed for this antenna. But it worked out pretty well. So you get a big bunch like this. Wrap it like this. Bundle it in here. Making sure that the line's at the top. So yeah, this is more line than I normally deploy, but it was nice having a nearly vertical 40-meter embed halfway, right? I'm hearing a hawk or something. Shouldn't take more than a minute, really. You can be timing me now, but it doesn't take that long. There we go. Now I grab the end of this, grab my throw weight, do one of these little simple sort of slip knotty things. I can't remember what you call this knot. Maybe somebody can enlighten me. Actually, I have it in an article in QRP about arborist throw lines. Here we go. And that is packed. Not hard at all. That in here, got my water here. I'm gonna drink a little tiny bit of it before I put it up. Awesome. Man, I'm so glad I fit this in today. This has not leaked in all the time I've had it. The water that's on here is water I just spilled on it. So I actually feel really comfortable keeping this in my pack. I think as comfortable as I would a regular bottle. Oh, let me take my hat off. I won't need that. This is a Tilly hat, and I really love this thing. Okay. Here we go. Let's just head on down the hill, shall we? First of all, always look around. Make sure there's not something you left behind. I took count as I was doing all this. I didn't see anything, but just double check. Make sure, I mean, to be honest, you gotta think about things like your wallet, your phone, your keys. Make sure they didn't fall out when you're doing things like this, because it's super easy to do. And last thing you want to do is have to hike back up to a summit and look through the leaves for your wallet. So this is, like I said, this is a summit. This is a true summit. We're actually just doing a circle around the little path up here on the summit and heading back. The rest of this is fairly downhill, but I think that I'll take you with me at least to the overlook. I gotta hurry. At least they're mostly downhill, so I should be able to kind of knock this out pretty quickly this time. Oh, I'm so glad I did this. So glad I did this. I wish I had more time. Like, this is one of the few summits that I can hit and activate in pretty short order, because the hike up here is maybe only about, at a good clip, it's probably less than 30 minutes. I don't know if I've ever timed it. And it's just such a pleasant, it's such a pleasant hike too. How did I not know about this other little trail up here? I guess I'd forgotten about that. But the summit activations for me tend to be very time consuming, because a lot of the places I activate, the hike is at least going to be an hour. Usually, even though I live in the mountains, to get to the trailhead of some of my closest summits are at least a 35-minute drive. And so when you add an hour and a half on either side of the activation, that's 3 hours. And that's for the closest summits around me that I can get to easily. And then you gotta assume maybe an hour doing the activation. So it's like 4.5 hours. And I just so rarely have that much free time. This summit, though, I can do in about 2 hours if I really, really want to. And I think that's what I'm doing today. Let's see, I started at 9:30, started at 9 o'clock. It's about 10:12 right now. So I can do this summit within 2 hours. It's very appealing. And I would do so many more summit activations. I love both summit and park activating, both. But I've got to admit, summit activations really do kind of tick off all the boxes for me, because I like a good hike. I like doing everything portable. I like working a little DX sometimes when I'm activating. You got a lot more chance of doing that here in the States, at least, with SOTA. There's just so many. You know, it's really funny. I didn't hit any Europeans today, but I did work a lot of stations out on the West Coast, and that's kind of fun. Had it been I bet you if I'd have gone to 17 meters, I bet I would have worked a few Europeans. But that's not my main goal. It's just I enjoy that. I enjoy the portableness of SOTA. And I tend not to do many drive-up summits. There's one I may do later this year. I need to find a time to do it, called Anderson Mountain, which is a little drive-up SOTA summit I've done once before, another one-point summit. Here, I think in the WP area. I think it's in WP, Western Piedmont. No, it may not be Western Piedmont. Maybe it's Eastern Piedmont. Anyway, that's one I may do. But by and large, when I do SOTA summits, I want to get a hike in. And so I don't do a whole lot of drive-up ones. Parks are usually what I do when I want something more akin to drive up. But I can do a park activation. Like yesterday, I fit in 3 activations in the span of 4 hours, 4.5. I mean, I can't do that with a summit activation, not easily. A lot of it up here. So, it's going to be a turn off here to the right from the summit. It's just for those people who want to come out here and activate Baker's Mountain. And there are signs saying no trespassing, all that stuff. The no trespassing has more to do with the tower cluster up here. And trail closed. I see that sign right here. But again, ask for permission. The park rangers, I haven't gone to them recently, to be honest. This was probably 3 or 4 years ago. No, yeah, 3 years ago maybe. And they said it would be fine, even though it says park staff only. This is just not a public part of their trail, but they said it's really not an issue. They just don't want ATVs and groups and things to come up here or something, or mess around with the towers. But we'll be to the public park here in just a second. Oh, and I should say, this isn't a POTA park at all. I wish it was. Baker's Mountain's not quite large enough that the state of North Carolina will take it over as a state park. And that's unfortunate because it's really a cool park. And I'd love for it to be a POTA site. Maybe someday in the future, when POTA has the capacity to do it, they'll allow some of these larger county parks and things to be included in the POTA network. I'd love to have Baker's Mountain as a POTA site. Here we go. So you kind of come under here under these lines. You can see out there. It's a really nice view. I'm actually going to go down this way and over, and they've got a little observation area over here we can go to. I don't know if there'll be people over here or not. No, I don't see any right now. A picnic table, a little gazebo over there. But a lot of people come here thinking this is the summit, and they'll do their summit activation here, but it's not the summit, not even close. You can see how far away we are from the true summit. True summit's up there. Yeah. And actually, I will be going out that way a little bit later with my dad. I think I'm taking him to the airport cafe at the Hickory Airport and having lunch if they're open today. I think they are. Yeah, so this is nice. Honestly, you can't forget to stop and just kind of smell the roses a bit, or as I sometimes say, smell the coffee when you're out and about doing activations and things. That over there, I think, is WHKY's TV tower. That is probably the Longview water tower over there. I can see the hospital from here. It's actually a really nice little view. This has only been a county park, I think, since the late 80s, and I think they've only had the trail system in, not quite in that amount of time. Maybe in the 90s they put it in, I can't remember. Okay, well, let's call it quits today. Put this up before the battery runs out, pack it up in my pack, get out my other hiking stick, and head down the hill. Thank you again so much for joining me today. I really, really appreciate it. I hope you had a good time, and hope you got to practice a little CW. If you get a chance, go out there and play a little radio in the field. It's very therapeutic. Take it from me. And as I always say, let's all be kind to one another, because all we got on this whole planet's each other, okay? Take care. Until next time, 7 threes.